So somebody recently asked me if I could create a beautiful acrylic pour with one color. Challenge accepted. I'll probably have to break a few rules though.
When it comes to acrylic pouring, there's only so many levers you have to pull to change your pour. The first one is the paint, and we crossed that off right when we started here. The second is medium, third is technique, and the fourth, kind of a sub to the paint, is the consistency. But that's kind of moot at this point also, since we're using the same paint. There are others like additives and things like that, but they don't have as much of an impact as these main ones. So in my case, really, the only options I have are medium, technique, and consistency. Consistency, I want to make sure that we are a thinner consistency so we get more variation. For the technique, I'll probably try a funnel pour or a flip cup type thing to see if I can't get some different results with the paints that I have. With my first attempt, I chose emerald green paint. And that was a mistake right off the bat because this is a very opaque paint. And I found that the opaque paint didn't give me very good variation when I changed the medium and the technique, which you'll see here later. So my first batch of paint, I created just my standard 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, and mixed that up. I did add a little bit of water, so I had kind of a medium consistency, and that worked great. So the second thing I changed was with my paint, I used an iridescent medium to give it a little bit of sparkle, so hopefully it would be a little bit different than the main paint. And I did 50%, and I did 50-50 paint to pouring medium, which also was a mistake because that doesn't change the paint color enough to really make things look different. And then my third major mistake is I added Artist Loft pouring medium into this mix. I'll show you why in just a second why that was a mistake. So as I always do, I mix my paints and check the consistency visually just by dripping them into the cup. And these two paints looked pretty similar. And then I put it on my consistency sheet. This is where another one of the problems started. I could not, for the life of me, get these two things to be the same flow rate. I'd drop it down, I'd tilt it, I'd drop my little piece down, I'd tilt it, and the one would be way faster than the other, and I'd make some adjustments, and I'd tilt it, and the one would be way faster than the other, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong until I realized that I used two different mediums, and the two different mediums are going to behave completely different in the drip test because what I'm assuming in this case is the mix with the Artist Loft is a lot more sticky, so it's just kind of sticking to the cover that I have on my consistency chart, and it was never going to show the same consistency on this paper. And I did have a video a long time ago about that, which I should have recognized before I did this, but sometimes you got to learn the hard lessons multiple times. Ultimately, I got everything looking about like I wanted to, so we did a quick test with some of the paint, just doing a dirty pour straight onto the painting. And as you can see here, you can kind of see the variation between the paints. There's not a lot of color difference, but there is a little bit of shimmer difference. And in the right light, you can see it. But for me, that really wasn't enough differentiation of the paints, and it would be a very boring painting. So what I decided to do is add a little bit of white, and here's where the controversy comes in, because it's tinting the paint a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter. Is it its own color? Yeah, probably it is, although there is some debate about white and black really just being tints of other colors of paints. So as an added bonus, just to make a little bit more of a visual impact, I laid down a layer of white paint, which is Amsterdam titanium white, 1 part paint, 2 part Floetrol, and mixed to the same consistency so that we had a base and we could get some cells from this flip cup. When I flipped the cup, I got some amazing results. I got some amazing cells on the outside. One thing I did know is most of the cells on the outside were going to get tilt it off. That's just what happens with the outside of paint with paint pouring. But I was hoping that I could capture some of them. While I was tilting though, I saw this odd interaction. You can see this rippling that's happening all over the painting. That is not normal at all. And I know it wasn't the canvas. It was a clean canvas, just came out of the packaging. So it had to be the paint. And again, that mistake I made with mixing paints that had two different mediums in them is causing this. I think one of the paints is rolling over the other paint way quicker, and so I'm getting that weird interaction, which I did not like how the paint looked. You can see it in a couple of these shots here. The end result of the painting is not bad, but it's not what I was hoping for. So let's take all those lessons we learned and try again. Right off the bat with the second try, I had a problem. I didn't have enough paint of a single color to do what I wanted to do. So I had to make my own color. So technically I'm using two colors. Together they make one color, and I'm only going to use that one color in the different paints that I used. But in this case, I'm using Lucas Krill magenta and lemon yellow. And I mixed the two different paints, 2 parts red, 1 part yellow, and then 2 parts of Floetrol, give or take, on top of that. And the other one, I decided I didn't want near as much paint in the iridescent medium. So I did 2 parts red, 1 part yellow, and then once that was mixed, I mixed that to 1 to 4 parts of the iridescent medium. So there was way more iridescent medium, and the medium really isn't its own color, but it does have a little bit of color, so it lightened up that red-orange that we have. So I have some differentiating colors there. And once again, I mixed these up. I did my consistency check, and my consistency check actually worked because I had the same medium in both paintings, unlike the first one. So just like before, I did a sample of just the two colors together to see how they would look, and there is more differentiation here, but not quite enough. So once again, I'm going to break the rules, add a little bit of the white, same mixture of white, 1 part titanium white from Amsterdam, 2 parts Floetrol mixed to the same consistency, and this time we're going to try a funnel pour to see if we can't get some more color interaction. I didn't do near as much flood paint right next to our normal paint, and I didn't use the white right before, so I'm not going to get as many cells, but I will get some paint interaction. And as I'm tilting this, you can see how much smoother it is. There's no lumps and the other effects that we were getting from the previous painting. And so far, I'm really liking this. And as I always recommend, I am documenting my painting. In this case, I'm using my Pour Vault app to take some pictures, note what kind of paints I used, what paints I mixed, and also the techniques I used. And I'll add some notes and some pictures of the dry results later. Overall, for monochromatic paintings, both of these turned out okay. I like the red orange way better than the green, although I do like the cell structures that we got on the outside of the green. So you can, with some pretty simple ingredients and not many colors, in my case 1 or 1.5 if you want to consider the white a real color, created a pretty piece of art that I would be happy to display in my house. Now, there are some pouring techniques where having 2 different types of paint actually is useful, like the Shelly Art Blooms, and I've done a video about a very cheap version of those blooms that I'll show you here.